Hello, this video is about the use of the touchpad on the ZimberLab ILLuminate HUD. Moving the lights around can be controlled directly from the HUD. There's no need to go into edit. First, let's talk about movement on the world axis. We have three axes in our 3D world, being the X, Y, and Z axis, and they are represented here by these colored arrows. Red for X, green for Y, and blue for Z. The pointed side of this arrow means a forward movement, and the other side is a backward movement. For the Z axis, this is pretty straightforward because it's up and down. If I touch here, my light will go up. If I touch here, it will go down. But for the X and the Y axis, you really need to know how they are oriented if you want to move your light on the horizontal plane. And therefore we have a few ways. There's this button over here, which is the res axis button. If you click it on the left side, you will get a brief representation of the axis on each light and on your avatar. So when I click this, we get this. And you can see how the X and Y are oriented. Another way is to res a permanent representation of the axis, and this happens when you touch the right side, and then we get this. It's an in-world object that shows the axis, and it will appear at the parent beacon, and you can just click it to remove it from the world. So say we have here an object beacon. If this one would be active and I touch the button, then we get the axis over here. A third way is to look at the point lights. They have a representation of the axis at the light itself. The triangle stands for the point of the arrow, and the circle stands for the back of the arrow. So if I want to move this light around, I can just directly look at the light itself and use that as a guidance for my movement. Then we have the distance buttons. Those are the two white arrows over here. They stand for closer by and further away, but they will act different depending if it's a projector or a point light. For a projector, the projector will move on the axis of its aim. So if I use it on the projector over here, this is closer by, and this is further away. And for a point light, it will move on the horizontal plane towards its parent beacon. So this is closer by and further away. Say we have this object beacon here with two lights parented to it, but the projector here is not in focus mode. So when I will use the distance buttons on this projector, it will move on its own axis, and in fact has nothing to do with where its parent beacon is. But the point light, when I use distance buttons on the point light, it will act towards and away from its parent beacon. At the left of the arrows we have the speed buttons. So far we've been using the default slow speed, but there's a medium speed and a fast speed. So you can change how fast your lights will move on the axis. Let's do fast one, which allows you to quickly position your lights. We also have an undo option for the last move, which can be handy if you accidentally move the wrong light or something. So this is only the last move. Say I move my light up and I say, oh, didn't want to do that. I can just go back. And it can also be used to toggle between two positions, because it always looks at the last move. So the light will move back and forth in the last two positions with this undo button. This toggle can also be used to check out two different position setups of your lights. In this case, I've moved my 4 lights, and when I select multi, select them all, and going to use the undo button now, I can toggle back and forth between these two different setups and see what I like best. Okay, let's take a look at the rotation touchpad for projectors. We have 4 arrows here, 2 tints of purple for up and down movement, and 2 tints of orange for left and right movement. And the same colors are represented at the projector. And you have to look at it this way. If you touch a certain color, the projector will be pushed in the direction of this arrow on the projector. So if I touch here the darker purple, the projector gets pushed that way. If I touch the lighter purple, it goes that way. Same for the orange tints. Note that if you rotate over the Z-axis, up and down will change and left and right for the projector will change. For the purple colors, this makes no difference apart from up becomes down and vice versa. But left and right, the colors will change on the projector. So if I go over the Z-axis, these colors will flip. Similar as with the world X movement, the rotation has 3 different speeds. Again, we were using the slow default, but there's a medium rotation speed like this, and then we also have a fast one like that. We have a reset option for the rotation. It's the little white dot here, and if you touch it, the projector will return to the rotation in which it was first rest. So if you mess up some rotation or you're not happy with it, you can just reset it. Then we have focal point aim, commanded by the I button over here. And this will point the projector at where your camera is looking. So with Alt left click, we can set a point where our camera looks at, and then we can just have the projector automatically aim at the same spot as where we look at. Focal point aim can be inaccurate at times, and sometimes it goes wrong. Certainly when you are pointing your camera in the opposite direction of where your avatar is facing. So even if you work with object beacons and your avatar is somewhere further away, it's good to keep an eye on which direction your avatar is facing when you use focal point aim. Then the last command is adapt with its button over here. This is if you would choose to rotate and move your setup in edit. So you just want to reposition this a little bit. Then the point lights wouldn't be no longer on the world axis, and the projectors might be wrongly turned. So with the adapt button, this all gets rectified. Even if you would mess something really up, like say if something like this happens, you hit adapt and all the lights return to the ILLuminate system rules.